Yonnae Hobbs, Foster Action, Ohio. I apologize. Welcome to committee. May I begin when ready?
Yes, thanks for having me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the Honorable Senate Finance Committee. And thank you for taking the time to hear my voice, because honestly, voices like mine don't always get this opportunity, let alone even know about it. Now, before I get into my spiel, I'm going to invite you all for the next couple of minutes to take a moment to step out of your professional bodies and into your human bodies. Today, I want to come before you as a daughter of the child welfare system, a system that promised me better. Now, my name is Yonnae, and I am a proud leader within the Ohio Youth Advisory Board and current president of the Hamilton County Youth Advisory Board. But before I ever had a title, I was just a young girl in the foster care system trying to survive a world that was not built with me in mind. I was taken from my family at the tender age of 3 years old, placed into kinship at 5, back into care at 10, and then adopted at 12. But soon as the confetti hit the floor for my 18th birthday, my adopted folks booked out. Now let me ask you a question. What would you all do if you were freshly 18, suddenly had no mom to call, no dad to bail you out, no blueprint, no bank account, no social security card, not even a birth certificate, and the system that promised you better just disappeared? Because that's what happened to me and thousands of other youth right here in Ohio that fall in between the cracks. See, we're told to dream big and that education is the way out. But how are we supposed to focus on a college application where we're trying to figure out where we're going to sleep next week, what we're going to eat the next day? Now, I don't know about you all, but to me, that doesn't sound like care. That sounds like a countdown. And how do we succeed in school when we honestly haven't even been taught how? As my peers mentioned, Ohio ranks in the bottom 10% nationally for outcomes of older foster youth in foster care. We're less likely to graduate high school, less likely to find employment. And that's not because we're not smart enough or we're not capable. It's simply because the system makes promises that it doesn't keep. The Every Student Succeed Act says that every school district should have a foster care liaison. But often in practice, these positions exist on paper, but not in reality. And by the time we turn 21, when most people still have the safety net of their family, we are aged out and the net is cut. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not standing here to beg. I'm standing here to build. I have yet to finish college myself, but it's not because I don't want to. It's simply because I can't afford it and the foundation was simply not laid. But make no mistake, I will finish. I just know it shouldn't be this hard. And I don't want it to be this hard for the next youth that's coming behind me. Because guess what? If this was easy, we all would be doing it. So please make this easy for us to do. And this is why I am urging you all to support the Foster to College Scholarship Amendment. And this proposal would cover the last dollar gap for tuition, room, and board. And that's after the grants and scholarships are applied. It would support colleges, universities, and vocational training programs. And here's the best part. It's proven to work. In over 25 other states, they have already included similar tuition waivers or scholarship for youth in care. And they're seeing higher graduation rates, better employment outcomes, and less need for emergency services down the line. It's cost efficient, it's humane, and it is definitely overdue. This plan also includes the dedicated foster care student navigators, which are real people who have the time, training, and heart to help youth in care navigate their educational journeys from high school to adulthood. You all have the power to change the trajectory and generations for Ohio's most vulnerable youth. We don't need no more sympathy. We need strategy. We don't need any more slogans. We need support, real, funded, and focused. So I'm asking you again, not just as an advocate, but as a daughter of this system, as someone who aged out without a mask, please Please help us turn foster care into futures that finish. Add this amendment. Invest in youth that had no other choice but to depend on the state. And let's make Ohio a state that keeps its promises. Thank you, and I hope I left you all with more than just a good impression. I hope I lit a fire. And I am now open to any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. Absolutely a great impression. You did light a fire. I appreciate your passion and thank you for sharing your story. What are you studying?
So again, as I mentioned, I'm unable to finish my college education. That's why I'm here for you all today. I've actually been applying for schools for this upcoming fall 2025 for semester. But again, finances a lot of time get in my way, but I got my fingers crossed. And if it ain't no way, I'm definitely going to make a way. I would like to major in psychology and minor in political science and get a certificate in deaf studies.
Any questions from the committee? Senator Ingram.
I actually have a comment. Yeah, great job. Thank you so much. Definitely a public speaker, whether you know it or not. The question becomes, here again, I'll ask you the same question I asked previously. Where do you make the connection? Because unfortunately, there are lots of foster children who end up on 18, breaking the plate, burning the mattress, and you're gone. So where does the state, not just with the navigator, but where is our responsibility? Because we have issues with guardians too. When they grant that guardianship, it depends if it's a lawyer, they're paying themselves to do some of that work. So where do we make that connection further down in the line?
Yes, the connection is made during the K to 12. This is where the foster care liaisons come in. There is no reason between the grades of K to 12 that we have not identified at least 5 to 10 scholarships and grants that each youth can be able to benefit from. I mean, there are scholarships out there that you can get for being left-handed. So I feel like it falls on those student navigators that are in our schools from grades K through 12, because that is then where they're transitioned to our navigators, which helps during that 18-year-old period all the way until you get that first job. I feel like a lot of times we are left, we're not being checked on, and we are not being ensured that we are reaching our next level in life. I feel like there's need to be a lot of emphasis starting early, as you mentioned. When we call a couple of these schools, and Jay can speak more to that later, they often told us they didn't even know what a foster care liaison was, and this was their job title. So I feel like more things need to be done to ensure that they are actually doing their job. I didn't even have a foster care liaison throughout my period of high school. I couldn't even tell you what that was until today. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any further questions? Again, thank you very much for your passion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.